So, what really separates the super wealthy from, well, everyone else? It's not really about luck, and it's definitely not just about being a genius. The real secret, the game changer, is all in how they think. So, let's dive into the 6 core mental principles the top 1% use to build lasting wealth.
And this quote just gets right to the heart of it. The big takeaway here is that the biggest advantage the wealthy have is a specific mindset, a set of mental tools they use every day. And the best part, it's a skill you can learn. It's not something you're born with.
Okay, so this really breaks down the fundamental difference. See, most of us are caught in this cycle of reacting to whatever feels urgent, trying to just work harder and harder, and making big calls based on how we feel in the moment. The 1%? They play a totally different game. They focus on what's actually important for the long term. They look for patterns they can turn into systems, and they let cold, hard data drive their decisions.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to walk through these 6 specific mindset shifts one by one. And I want you to think of each one as a tool that kind of flips conventional wisdom on its head, giving you a completely new way to look at problems, make decisions, and grow. Okay, first up, principle number 1. This is all about handling stress, setbacks, and all that drama without letting it throw you completely off course. And it starts with one simple question. That's it. Seriously, that's the question. The next time a big deal falls through, or a key employee quits, or you just have one of those days, stop and ask yourself this. Because 99% of the time, the honest answer is no, not really. It instantly filters out the noise and gives you the headspace to focus on what actually matters in the long run. And the source material gives us a perfect example of this. Imagine a key team member quits out of the blue. The typical reaction, right? Total panic, frustration. You start spiraling, worrying about who's going to do their work, how you'll retrain someone. It's just this emotional vortex that burns a ton of energy and solves absolutely nothing.
Now, contrast that with the 1% response. Instead of freaking out, you ask the 5-year question. You realize, okay, this is a pain right now, but it's not going to define my company's future. So you calmly accept it, you talk to the person, and then you immediately shift into creating a strategic game plan for what's next. See the difference? You handle it, you don't just react to it.
All right, principle number 2. And this one goes against almost everything we've ever been taught about success. It's not about who can grind the hardest or work the longest hours. It's about outthinking everyone by spotting patterns. So here's the big aha moment. If you find yourself solving the exact same problem over and over again, it is not bad luck. It is a system issue. See, the 1% don't just run around putting out fires. They take a step back and ask, wait a minute, why do these fires keep starting in the first place? They see the repeating cycle that everyone else is too busy to notice. And here's exactly how you fix it. It's a 4-step process. First, you identify that recurring headache. Second, you build a solid process to solve it for good. Third, you document that solution so literally anyone can follow it. And fourth, you implement it forever. That's how you get off the hamster wheel. You build a machine that solves the problem for you. Our third principle is all about shifting your perspective. It's about elevating your thinking. It's the mental trick that takes you from being an operator, the person who just does the work, to being an architect, the person who designs the work. This question right here is your secret weapon. The next time you're stuck in the weeds, just buried in the details of a problem, I want you to pause and ask yourself this. How would my mentor handle this? How would the CEO or a board member look at this situation? It forces you to get out of your own head and start thinking about the structure of the problem, not just the emotion of it. And there's this fantastic story in the source material about this. The author was facing this massive fulfillment crisis, and it was her responsibility. Her husband, who was also her business partner, could have jumped in and saved the day, but he didn't. He forced her to think one level up and figured it out herself. And yeah, it was tough, but it was a defining moment that made her a much stronger leader and made their entire system more resilient. Okay, principle number 4. Now this one can be the hardest to master, but it is also the most freeing. It's all about making your big decisions with cold, hard math instead of messy, complicated emotions. Just look at this real-world example. The author had to fire a high-level executive, and on the surface, that sounds like a really personal, dramatic thing. But for her, it wasn't personal at all. It was just math. The results before the new hire were here, and the results after were way down here. The data told the entire story. The decision was basically made by the numbers. So here's a practical way you can apply this. Next time you've got a tough call to make, literally grab a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On one side, write down all your feelings, the second guessing, the fear, the drama.
And on the other side, list only the objective facts and the data. Then make your decision based only on the data column. It brings so much clarity.
Now for principle number 5, and trust me, this is a big one. It's time to stop thinking about managing your time and start thinking about investing your time, because that's what it is. It's your most valuable, non-renewable capital.
I mean, this chart right here is a huge reality check for most of us, right? Look where all the time goes. 40% in low-value meetings, 35% just reacting to emails and notifications, 20% lost to just switching between tasks. And that tiny little sliver, that 5%, that's the deep strategic thinking that actually moves the needle. The 1% are absolutely ruthless about protecting and growing that sliver.
So the key action here is to start treating your calendar like a financial statement. I mean it. Go through it line by line. And for every single meeting, every task, every call, you have to ask yourself, what is the return on investment for this hour? And if it's not creating real value or leverage, you have to cut it, delegate it, or drastically shorten it. Period.
And that brings us to our final and maybe the most important principle of all. You are a product of your environment. You just are. Your quality of thinking will never, ever rise above the quality of your surroundings. So I want you to take a really honest look around you. Start with your physical space. Is it organized and clear, or is it messy and chaotic? Now think about your relationships. Are the people in your life challenging you to be better, or are they just reinforcing your limitations? And what about your income? Is it growing because you're solving bigger and bigger problems, or is it stuck because you're distracted? The impact here can be absolutely staggering. The source tells this story about how the author's husband became 5 times happier, 5 times, just by removing a single negative person from his life. One person. That's the incredible power of curating who gets your time and energy. The 1% understand this, and they guard their environment fiercely.
So there you have it, the 6 principles that really form the wealthy mindset. But see, they aren't just a list of random tricks. They all work together. They're an interconnected operating system for thinking differently, for making better decisions, and ultimately for building a life that's truly on your own terms.
So I'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Your thinking can never outgrow the environment you put it in. So the real question isn't just about what you think. It's about who and what you allow to shape your thinking in the first place. Who will you let into your circle? The choice is 100% yours.